morning. A gray day in Hong Kong. You know, after 3.5 weeks of hot weather. I don't mind gray. It's something different. Do you get the feeling that every day is just like the next? It's like I went to bed yesterday not knowing what day it was, but I had to look at my calendar to see because I didn't know. Anyhow, what can I tell you? Our cinemas are still closed here because of the coronavirus, and it was announced the other day that the organizers of the Hong Kong International Film Festival, they were canceling their event, which was going to take place in a couple weeks' time. It had already been postponed from March to August, and then they said, okay. But they're doing something. I got something in the email yesterday from them saying they're doing, I think they're still doing the competitions, but doing them online. I haven't read the email, so I don't know what it's all about. But anyhow, the audience participatory section of it is off. So the chance of us getting back to the cinema to watch movies on the big screen isn't going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. So what we're left with is what's on the streaming services, and I think I'm starting to feel like I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. And I've heard comments from other people saying the same thing. It's like, yeah, I've seen everything. So it's getting a little tough. But a couple things have opened on, have dropped online in the past few weeks, and I'm going to talk about one of them right now, and that's Greyhound, which landed on Apple Plus a couple of weeks ago. Apple TV Plus, I should say. Apple TV Plus a couple of weeks ago. Now, like many Hollywood productions, this is a Sony production, or co-production, I guess, but Sony's the lead. It was going to go to the cinemas, but of course that didn't happen. So Apple stepped in, bought it, and here we are. The film, it's a World War II set drama. It stars and it's co-produced by Tom Hanks. Everybody's, what do they call him? America's dad. Tom Hanks, America's dad. And he plays the fictional U.S. Navy commander, Captain Ernie Krause, who is charged with leading a convoy of 37 Allied merchant ships across the North Atlantic to Liverpool. This is 1942, just after America entered World War II. The fiction, by the way, I gotta say, it's fiction. Seems like it could be true. It is based on real events, but this is all fiction. So he's leading this convoy of ships across the North Atlantic, and they have to deal with the nets of U-boats that are dead set on ensuring that they don't make it. Now, the story was also written by Hanks, the screenplay written by Hanks, but it's based on a 1955 novel called The Good Shepherd by C.S. Forster, who also wrote The African Queen. Very interesting. And it's funny, 1955, that was like not yesterday. So it's funny that it took a long time for this movie to be adapted, or this book to be adapted to the screen, considering that African Queen was a movie many years ago. I remember when it was in the 50s or was it in the 40s? I think it was in the 50s. Now, the action for this movie, Greyhound, it takes place in an area called the Black Pit, and it's part of the ocean that was at the time, no longer, but at the time it was out of range of air cover. So the American planes could only fly so far before they had to turn back, and the Allied planes could only fly so far before they had to turn back, and there's that area in the middle where no planes could reach them. And for 5 days, the convoy ships are on their own with only their sonar and Krause's leadership to protect them. So that's what the film is all about. Now, with Greyhound, Hanks is once again in his wheelhouse. He loves playing these simple characters, good people, who rise to the occasion when given the opportunity to do so. That's what this guy's all about, and that's what Hanks is good at. This film is extremely lean. I was really surprised. It's barely 81 minutes long, and perhaps this is to the film's detriment. I could have watched it longer if we would have gotten more character development. We don't get to learn a lot about Krause, other than that he's a devout person. He prays every night. He speaks things. He speaks passages from the Bible or from different scriptures. And he's a darn good leader. He's an excellent leader, and he's a very good tactician. So one has to wonder why he's only getting his first command now. Here's a guy who's well, let's assume he's in his 50s. But Tom Hanks is in his 60s. But I don't know in the book how old the character really was, but let's assume he was in his 50s. So it seems strange that he's only getting his first command now, being such a good leader and a good tactician. But anyhow, now at the film's start, we learned that he has a love interest named Evelyn, who's played by Elizabeth Shue. But we don't know the circumstances of their relationship. Is he single? Is he widowed? Is he divorced? I was really surprised, though, because I'm going to give something away here, just a little thing. He has to marry her at the beginning of the film, and she says, no, the time's not right. When is the time ever right? Like, the love of your life, allegedly, is going off to war. You might never see him again. Isn't that the right time to marry the guy? I was really surprised that she said the time is not right. But anyhow, so we don't get to find out what his marital status pre-Evelyn really is. Now in the book, we learn that his wife had left him. So I think this part of the movie, Tom Hanks just sort of wrote in from his imagination. Now, I had hoped that Evelyn would at least be waiting for him when he got off the ship. Now, I know logistically that would be impossible because she would have to fly there, and she couldn't fly there in 1942, and obviously she couldn't get there by boat faster than him. So, but you know what? I wanted like this sort of Hollywood happy ending that would be reminiscent of a 1942 war film. But of course that didn't happen. And of course, I'm just saying that as tongue-in-cheek. Of course, I think if it did happen, everybody would go, "No, it can't." But certainly in a movie made, a war movie made in Hollywood after the war, in the late 1940s, she would have been there. Now, to its credit, I say the film does offer some nail-biting action sequences as the predators and prey try to outmaneuver each other on the high seas. I thought that was well done. Of course, it's all CGI because I think they filmed it in Baton Rouge and I think in Halifax as well, or some of the scenes might have been in Halifax. But certainly most of the film was done in Baton Rouge. So, it was all done with CGI. But I thought it was well done. Now, the film's dialogue, however, I thought was rather uninspiring because there's a lot of hard left rudder, aye aye sir, the captain has the con. There was a lot of that going on, and of course it's being repeated to excess because he shouts an order and it gets repeated down the line. Now it's probably how it really is on a boat, but it doesn't make for very exciting movie viewing. Just to be like 90% of the dialogue was that, so. That wasn't so great for me. Now, if anyone other than Hanks would be in this role, this film would have been cinematic flotsam for sure. But he was able to keep the film upright in the water and full steam ahead. So I think to his credit, I think he really saves the movie from a watery grave. But that being said, it's not a great movie. I would say watch it for sure if you have Apple TV Plus or other methods to find the movie. I won't encourage people to do anything illegal, but we know people are resourceful. You know what? I'd say watch it for sure. It's not one of his best movies, but it's certainly not one of his worst. And these days we don't have a lot of great options out there. But I'd say, if anything, it would encourage people to get a copy of The Good Shepherd. I know, I want to read it now. So that's Greyhound. So it's okay. It's not great. It's okay. So as I said, it's available exclusively on Apple TV Plus. That's all I'm going to talk about because I've been busy with other things, so I haven't really watched a lot of movies this week. I'm going to hopefully watch, what am I going to watch? Oh, The Rental this weekend. The other one that I want to watch is, there's a Polish TV series called The Woods, which got pretty good reviews. So I'm trying to get my hands on that one so I can watch it. I think it's 6 or 7 episodes or something. So if you've seen The Woods, let me know what you think of it. I'd like to hear. You can go to my website, howard4film.com, Howard, F-O-R, film.com, and you can leave me a message there or just send me an email, howard@howard4film.com, or leave a message on Facebook or YouTube. So have a good weekend. Have a good week. Please remember to wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, all those wonderful things that you should be doing during this terrible time. See ya.